Is CO2 really something that causes temperatures to rise?
The central dogma, which now rules climate science and the related policy, is that the entire heating of the last 50 years, the global rise in temperatures, is all due to man-made CO2. Now, what do we know? We know indeed that CO2 is what we call a greenhouse gas, meaning that it's a molecule composed of 3 atoms. It has what we call, the scientific term is soft vibrations. It indeed captures the heat that comes out in the form of radio waves from the Earth, absorbs in the infrared, that's some technical terms, and heats up. It's a greenhouse gas. So if you put it in a light bulb and you shine light, it will heat up. What we do not know...
But we're not a light bulb.
We're not a light bulb. That's exactly the point. We don't know whether or not this is the main factor contributing to heating. Now, this you need to contrast with the fact that we know for sure that the Earth temperature has changed dramatically during all time scales, starting from the 20th century, as we discussed, going to the medieval warm period 1,000 years ago, and the Roman warm period, and the optimal period of the Holocene. Temperature of the Earth is fully capable of changing without changes in CO2 due to changes in the Earth's orbit around the sun. So we don't know. It's a thesis. Now, as scientific theses go, we need to prove it. Now, it's a very extreme thesis that a system as complicated as the climate, which is one of the most complicated physical systems known to science, is controlled by a single knob. That's an extreme statement.
Exactly.
And extreme statements require extreme proofs.
One of the founders of Greenpeace, Patrick Moore, Canadian guy, very sharp guy, once said, when 2 things happen at the same time, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're connected. And then he gave a great example. He said, summertime, there's more shark bites and there's more consumption of ice creams. It doesn't mean that shark bites causes a larger consumption of ice cream. And do you hold the same opinion that people are linking 2 things and it's not necessarily proven to be accurate?
It's unproven.
Unproven.
Correlation is not causation. This is a founding principle in science, specifically in statistical science like climate. There is no, what we would call in science, a smoking gun evidence that CO2 is related even to the majority of heating. We simply do not know. Now, this is something, you won't hear a lot of scientists say, right?
That they don't know. It's
Right.
like confession of
Confession of
defeat.
ignorance,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But that's the honest truth. It's a complicated system. We don't know. It might be correct. It might be completely wrong. The truth is probably, and at least from my understanding of the physics, is that it's about, maybe 20% or a quarter up to a third.
It's a contributor, but
It's a
not the cause.
contributor,
The main
but it's
cause.
not the cause. And that means we have a lot more time.
Yes.
It's definitely not the main cause, in my opinion, but I might be wrong. But the thing to understand is that we don't know. And there's actually, this is stated in the IPCC reports in something called the equilibrium climate sensitivity. That's the number that relates temperature to CO2. And it's all over the place. And our estimations of the contribution to CO2 hasn't changed from 1979. After billions of dollars invested into climate science.
And it still hasn't.
We don't know the
I see,
answer.
I see.